What's up, y'all? It's Inesha, and my mandate is to equip, encourage, empower, inspire, and ignite women to influence and impact their world, all for the glory of God. I am a wife, a mom, a ministry leader, a corporate IT leader by day, and a business owner and founder by night. I love all things Jesus, business, and letting my creative juices and imagination run wild. If you have found yourself here, I want you to go ahead, pull up a seat, because this is the PowHerhouse Podcast. We are talking about relationships. People have a very fantasized view of relationships all across the board. I'm talking about relationships when it comes to friends or lovers or even parental or sibling relationships. I mean, everybody has their own fantasized or romanticized version how relationships work. In their mind, a perfect relationship gives them everything they need without requiring too much for them to give up. But that's not the way it works in real life. Like, it's so mind-boggling that people really do live in that romanticized, fantasized place of lots of things. And relationships are no different. But it's mind-boggling because in real life, that's not how it translates. It never translates that way. The relationships that they do see doesn't translate that way. So to me, it's like, where are you getting this from? Like, what Disney movie have you watched over and over and over again, and now you think that relationships are just like that? Listen, okay? It's this is not Disney. This is absolutely real life. I have a question. Do you feel like God has more for you? Like, there's something burning on the inside of you, but you just don't know what it is or where to start. Or maybe you know exactly what is burning on the inside of you. Maybe you know exactly what you feel God is calling you to do, but you just don't know how to go about doing it. Well, I am happy to be the very first to let you know that in January of 2024, the doors to PowHerhouse Academy will be open. See, PowHerhouse Academy was created for women just like you. Women who have found that they have something to share with the world, but they just need a roadmap to getting that God-sized idea from their mind out into the marketplace. It's for the creatives, the multi-passionate thought leaders, the ones who God has called for such a time as this. Listen, your baby is ready to be birthed, and PowHerhouse Academy is literally the midwife you never knew you needed until now. So make 2024 your best year yet. To be the first to know when the doors officially open, or just to get some more details, I want you to text VIP to 803-303-8338. Every relationship needs some form of communication to grow and flourish. And I stand by that. Without communication, you will never know one another. Without communication, you can't assume that the relationship is solid. And it would be delusional of you to think so. Like, point blank, period. If the relationship hasn't been tested, if it hasn't been challenged, and you can't do those things without some form of communication, it would be delusional of you to think that this relationship that you have is the most amazing relationship, the most solid relationship that ever existed on all of Earth. Chandler Moore of Maverick City posted that just because you were in my life at one time or served a purpose in one season of my life doesn't mean you get automatic access to this season. If there's no consistent effort or real constant relationship building, that's entitlement to assume that you can just come in and pick back up where we started. Please feel free to go to his IG or Facebook post for the full verbiage. But yeah, it's the entitlement for me. Like, it is absolutely entitlement to assume that you can just come in and pick back up in a relationship where you last left it off. Now, it could happen. There have been instances where people who have had relationships, especially, years and years and years, they pick back up where they left off. All is well. But you're not entitled to that. The person is not entitled to allow you to occupy that space because you left that position vacant. I mean, the truth of the matter is something happened, and one way or another, you guys stopped communicating, you stopped intentionally growing the relationship, and boom, it was where it is. So I think this is why this conversation kind of sort of needs to be had, because we're all in one season or another where we're in transition or we're maintaining relationships that we currently have. But I really do agree with his post. Just because someone had a relationship with you doesn't mean they still have a relationship with you. Get it? Just because someone had a relationship with you doesn't mean that they still have a relationship with you. And it's a form of entitlement if they think they do. And on the flip side, it's a form of entitlement for you to think that just because you had a relationship with someone, that you still have a relationship with them. Now, obviously, there is some gray area to this. No matter how much you don't talk to your mama, she is still your mama. No matter how much you don't talk to your sister or your brother or your auntie, like no matter how much you don't talk to them, they still are your parents, your siblings, or whatever the case may be. But the quality of the relationship may not be what you desire. Why? Because proximity doesn't equal quality. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Proximity does not equal quality. We can be in the same house, under the same roof, and sleep in the same bed, yet have a horrible relationship. And we see that happen so many times. Like, people are in houses, in relationships, in places that are horrible. They hate it there. Some people are like, ooh, I just love it here. Man, some people are really saying, I hate it here, right? Why? More than likely, the communication in some way, shape, or form has dropped, or they don't know how to communicate with one another. So neither one of them knows the other's needs. It's just so sad and it's so heartbreaking. But I think the more we shed light on the things that relationships truly require, I think we can start to reshift and reshape our mindset when it comes to relationships. So relationships need intentionality. They need to be intentionally pursued. It's just like a garden. If you plant amazing, beautiful flowers in your garden, but you never take the time to snatch up the weeds, rake up or move some stuff out of the way, I promise you, give it like a month. That beautiful garden is going to be overrun with weeds. Give it 6 months. Give it a year. It doesn't matter. As long as you are not doing the things that you need to do to that garden, weeding it, planting, watering, all of that good stuff, I'm telling you, the weeds are going to come in and they're going to choke out all those beautiful flowers that you planted. So relationships, like when you think of it on a spectrum, or holistically rather, relationships are really meant to be fluid. They are not meant to just stay the same, because they will become stagnant. They are meant to have a constant flow of give and receive, give and receive. They are meant to expand. They're meant to grow. Like, they're meant to evolve with you. Once they stop growing, or once expansion stops, oftentimes their relationship stops as well. Now, there are differences between parenting a toddler, a middle schooler, and a college student, right? I think we can all agree that parenting a toddler is different than parenting a middle schooler. And then parenting a middle schooler is different than parenting a college student. The relationship has to evolve. The relationship has to grow. Yes, you are the mom or the dad, and your child is the child. They are your son or they are your daughter. But the relationship shifts. The relationship evolves because the needs that a toddler has is not the same need as a college student has. Or at least we hope, right? But the concept is the same. Relationships evolve. Relationships grow. It's not meant for a relationship to stay the same. It should expand. It should evolve into something that is mutually beneficial for both of the parties. So I have to say this, especially because we live in the age of social media and people can pop up in your DMs and all of these good things, right? I have to say this. Having the ability to access a person doesn't mean you have the authority to access that person. I'll wait. Having the ability to access someone doesn't mean that you have the authority to access them. And the same goes for you. Just because you may have the ability to access someone doesn't mean that you have the authority to do so. Because check this out. So let's say there's this house on this road, right? And this house has a gate that's surrounding it, but the gate is wide open. Yes, you do have access to go into that person's yard. Now, let's just say for the sake of this example, you go up to their door. The door is now unlocked. And you have the audacity to open up a stranger's door. You don't live there. This is someone else's house. But you open the door as if you have the right to do so and say, hey, it's me. Listen, they don't know you. You don't have the keys. You have no relationship. There's literally no way you would ever do that. First of all, because you don't know if they're crazy. They could be packing a gun. I don't even know. My mind can't even conceive the evil, wicked things that people might be doing behind closed doors. But common sense would tell you, yeah, I'm not about to just walk up in this person's house because this is their domain, it's their territory. Listen, in these social media streets, it's the same. On the phone, it's the same. Like, I get it. You may have a person's number, but if you don't have a relationship with them now, you can't just call them at 2:00 in the morning thinking that they're going to take time out to talk with you, right? You cannot expect someone to do that. And to think that they must answer your call, to think that they must answer your text messages, to think that they must answer your DMs, it's absolutely a form of entitlement. And you need to get rid of that. And if you're on the other end of that, like if you are accessing people without the authority to do so, they don't have to answer your DMs. I mean, I know. They are like your internet bestie. You read every post, you comment, you like, you subscribe, take all of their programs, and you feel like, man, this person is your best friend. But if you have not developed a relationship with that person to just call them randomly out the blue, it is absolutely crazy for you to think that they're going to answer your calls, respond to your messages right away. Most times, y'all, these people, they are not stalking their instant messenger, their Facebook messenger, their emails. They're nothing. They are not stalking it. Why? Because they got stuff to do. They got ministries, they got businesses, they got families, they have their own personal life. They are doing the best that they can with the time that they have. So as people, we have to realize that we have to honor that. We have to honor their time. We can't just assume that they're going to pick up. So just because you used your ability to access them doesn't mean that they are obligated to respond. It doesn't. And I'll end with this. This is like what, number 3? Listen, you are not entitled to a relationship that you have not cultivated. I know that one hurt. Like I probably stepped on your whole big toe just now. No, I stepped on your pinky toe, because y'all know that pinky toe, that one, like when you hit it on like the corner or on the couch or something like that pinky toe, woof, that's a new level. That'd be a new level. But it's true. Like, you are not entitled to a relationship that you have not cultivated. That's a word right there. That is a word. You are not entitled to a relationship that you have not cultivated. But on the flip side, no one is entitled to a relationship with you that they have not cultivated. Listen, baby, it takes 2 to tango. Okay, I'm talking about 2. You can't tango with just one person. You need 2 of them, baby. And if you aren't willing to cultivate this thing, then you absolutely have no right to the fruits and benefits of a relationship with me, period. Like, that's what you have to tell yourself and even other people. Like, listen, if you are willing to cultivate this relationship, you don't get to enjoy the fruits. You don't get to enjoy the benefits of being in a relationship with me when you haven't cultivated this relationship. You haven't invested any time. You haven't said anything, done anything, poured anything into this relationship. We have got to stop giving ourselves over to the wrong people, having them take up space in our hearts where others were literally supposed to be. Like, there's literally a person who's supposed to be in the spot that you have willingly given to someone else who is not cultivating the relationship, cultivating or investing in you as a purpose, my God, as a person. Okay, you are a purpose. Yes, you are a purpose. You are here on purpose, but you are also a person. We have to stop that. We have got to stop taking our lot everywhere we go. When, first of all, it wasn't Lot who was commanded to leave his family, leave everything he knew. It was you, Abraham. According to the word, we don't see God telling Lot to leave his family, to leave the place he was at. That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother in real life episode right there. But if you are Abraham, stop trying to take Lot everywhere you go. Stop it. So while we are in the month of love, take an inventory on the relationships you have. Do some cultivating, uprooting, replanting, watering, fertilizing. Do all the things that you need to do. But if it is not a God-ordained relationship, please feel free to brush the dust off your feet and keep it moving. Catch you in the next episode. Peace.